So we're now going to look at these functions as terms of both a sine and a cosine. And as we've talked about before, the only difference between those is c. A, b, and d are the same. So if we set this up and we find all 4 of those parameters, we'll be good to go. Easiest one to find first is d. So we find the middle of this function. And both graphs are the same, it's just 2 copies of the same one. D is going to be -1 for both sine and cosine. A, the amplitude, how far above or below that midline the function goes, is 2. B, the horizontal stretch or compression, we can go from peak to peak. So this peak at 0 to this peak at 2 pi. Again, these are measured in radians. We'll convert 2 pi to degrees, which would be 360. And we know that B is 360 divided by period length. So 360 divides 360, which is 1. C, which will be different for both sine and cosine. Cosine, we know, starts at a peak, and we have a peak right here at 0. So for cosine, C is 0. Sine, we start at the midline, but we don't start here. That's the closest one to the y-axis, but we don't use it because that's at a midline moving down. And a standard sine function is at a midline moving up, which would be right here. A little bit more difficult to find just because of the scaling. What we know, pi is 180 degrees, 2 pi is 360. Having 3 ticks in between means each tick is 60. So this one would be at 240 degrees. This one would be at 300. And that point is halfway in between. So for sine, our C will be 270. Write out the equations. We'll start with sine, 2 sine, and I don't need to put that 1 value for b in, x minus 270 minus 1. For cosine, same idea, 2 cos, I don't need the 1 for b and I don't need the 0 for c, so just 2 cos x minus 1.